well on the championship pair.
As a matter of fact, averaged just 209.5, games of 247 and 172.
Well, he's hoping for the 240 game this time.
His match play record 15-9, and this is his first ever appearance on national television, and he's doing it from the top seed position.
First shot, 4-pin right away.
Pretty good opening shot for the first time you've ever had to throw it under the lights.
Bill Johnson is Randy's father. Bill Johnson is a PBA champion, won in 1963, defeated Pat Patterson back there. And I can still remember what Pat Patterson said. He said afterward that he was aiming at 2 boards and Bill Johnson was aiming at the right side of the lane, so his son kind of follows in his footsteps. And barely makes the 4-pin.
He is really loose. Really enjoyed watching him play this week. Randy started off 5th after the opening round, then took over the lead in rounds 2 and 3, lost it briefly, was second after 4 rounds, and then came storming back in the 5th round, averaged 241 in the 5th round of this tournament, and really just snapped everybody off at that point.
And I watched Jeff Bellinger then just brush his foot with that wire brush, and there was something on the sole of his shoe, a little white piece of tape that was on the sole of his shoe that he knocked off when he brushed that foot that time.
He's 7 for 7 strike-wise on the right-hand lane and punches this one right through the head pin and luckily escapes without a split.
And the pressure of winning your first PBA title sometimes can make you throw that ball a little bit differently.
Well, I like your prediction. One of these two gentlemen will be booking some travel arrangements to Akron, Ohio for the 1987 Firestone Tournament of Champions.
And the reason we can't give our viewers at home the person who's on the bubble is because right now we really don't know. It's determined at the end of this year by the number of tournaments that each player bowls a lot of times. When we get our Turning 1s and Turning 2 status, a Turning 1 player is a bowler who's bowled 2/3 of the tournament. So we don't know at this point who really is going to be on the bubble. Won't know that until the end of the year. But sure enough, somebody's going to be knocked out with one of these guys winning.
One of his biggest hobbies, Jeff Bellinger that is golfing. An outstanding golfer. As a matter of fact, he puts on exhibitions from time to time, hits it probably as good standing on one leg as he does on 2.
Yeah, he's almost in your class, Danny.
Hey, anybody that can hit it further than I can with one leg, I've got to take my hat off to him. He really is a fine player and an outstanding bowler as well. Averaged 227 this week en route to winning 14 of 24 matches. But he would dearly love to make it match victory number 15 here.
Boy, back in the pocket on that left lane.
It's amazing tradition through the years, as you mentioned, on the championship pair, favored the players who throw the ball down and in and probably hook it less. And tonight in the championship round, it's 2 guys that just unleash it.
Different condition this year. Here comes Randy. Ooh, wow. And you see the difference there with a power player that comes in that half pocket hit and just snap that 6-pin right out of there. Just watch this release as he comes to the bottom of this swing. A long swing, and as he comes in the slide now, snaps it right about here. Whack with those fingers. See that lift out on the lane about 5 feet, done entirely with the fingers. For the double, then high. The same trouble that Palumbi had on lane 45, light, then high.
Randy Johnson knows how to strike. As a matter of fact, he authored 12 perfect games. Count them, 12. That's a dozen in 1984. 5 of those coming in PBA events. And already in his very young and bright career, he's won 7 PBA regional tournaments.
Well, he knows what it's like to win. And, wow, he's a little shaky on the spares right now.
Well, that's because when you throw all those strikes, you never get a chance to shoot spares. So when you see something standing, it's a little different.
Match is all even. Bellinger trying to take the early lead and put the pressure on his opponent. And Jeff taking a lot of time in this match. Wipes that ball clean, pounds that rosin into the thumb hole.
Jeff just exploded in round number 6 last night to solidify his position on the telecast this evening. Average 246 for the 8-game match play block last night. Those are some big numbers.
Well, you see why I got off. You got to compete with numbers like that.
You got off just in time. Bellinger looking for a double. And to take the lead in the match, and he
does.
He has really gone flush with the last couple shots.
Well, he was flush 10 out of 12 shots on that first game. In fact, almost all 12. Interesting that Randy Johnson got up from the chair in the left seat, left lane there, moved over to the right as soon as Bellinger struck. I used to do that a lot. I never want to sit behind the guy directly.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe it was just a feeling or something that.
It's amazing the superstitions the players have, not only throughout the tournament, but once you get to the television show, it seems like whatever works once, boy, they go right to it the second time around.
And we have a little category in our bios called superstitions, and Randy Johnson has none listed. So.
You know what I love about Randy? His hobbies. He enjoys bowling. That's his hobby.
That's his hobby. Well, hey, if you like what you're doing. Oh! Is it going to fall? Wow, he went from a potential strike to a potential split to winding up with a 10-pin.
And really a tough break. That 10-pin was wobbling, but just did not quite fall. And that would have been a turkey. And a decided edge for Jeff Bellinger. So Randy Johnson.
Bellinger needs to make the 10-pin, and he's using that wire brush after every shot.
I noticed throughout the week he used it almost virtually after every shot of the tournament. So it's obviously something, a habit that he's gotten into.
Either that or maybe the approaches are a little bit on the slick side here, and he wants to rough up that shoe.
Told me he almost wore out his brush this week as he converts the 10-pin. We've got a very tight championship match. Jeff Bellinger leading by 9, but Randy Johnson ready to uncork a couple in the 4th and 5th. Of course, never had a chance, but I've heard a lot about it. That's where they grew the Lon Hinkle tree.
Ooh! I thought that ball was out the window, dead hit.
Yes, that was the dice-o-matic. Dice 'em, slice 'em, and splice 'em. What a shot that was. What an explosion. It's about a 6.7 on the Richter scale.
How do these guys, how do they do it? I don't know.
They must sand the tracks or whatever.
I'm envious of that. No time at all. Randy Johnson takes no time and throws it dead flush for the double. Takes the lead with that one, Dan. I mean, if you blink, you miss him. He's so quick. What a contrast we have here between Randy Johnson, who throws 2 shots, and the time it takes Jeff Bellinger to throw 1.
Also, Randy probably has more revolutions on his shot by the time it gets to the arrows than most people do in 60 feet.
I thought you were going to say that.
Well, I wouldn't intimate that you couldn't hook it. No chance. You kidding me? A 3-time Firestone champion? The only one? Jeff Bellinger now with his work cut out. Randy Johnson answering with a counter punch, a couple of strong uppercuts.
Bellinger saying, if you can hook it, so can I.
Hear that thumb pop out of there that time?
I think it was the fingers. I really think it was his fingers that popped at that time. Yeah, he lifted that ball that hard that time.
I noticed that he's using the finger grips there too, Mike. Is it easier on your fingers rather than using just the edge of the bowling ball itself? A little more comfortable?
Well, a lot of players think it is more comfortable, but I think the reason that a lot of players like the grips is they think it gives them a little bit more lift.
Yeah, like he really needs more lift, right?
Yeah. Boy, look at that. Wrist around that ball, and then right here, it's just like a palm ball. It's like he did not have his thumb in the ball, is what it's like. That's what my son does. My son throws the ball, he doesn't put his thumb in the ball.
He doesn't?
Yeah.
Hits like a ton of bricks, too.
For the lead. Oh, a solid 9, and he falls down on the approach.
Oh, like a fighter that's just been hit with a shot. He staggered and obviously is generally disappointed with that effort. Maybe his best shot of the entire match to really climb back in and make things interesting. And a solid 9.
And he mumbled to himself, and I'm sure that we'd have to delete that if we had a microphone on him. But right now he needs to just get himself back together, make the 9-pin. No mental errors here, no giveaways. He's only 1 pin behind in the match.
That's about as tough a break as you can get at this point in the match.
At this point in the match, yeah, especially going for your first title. Has the 9-pin. You notice how he straightens the shot out and he spares, especially the right side spares, right lane spares here. Doesn't throw a hook at all at those single pin spares. Good tip for our young players and older players watching.
Randy Johnson leads by 1 with a double up in the 4th and the 5th.
And Randy even taking a little bit more time this time. Or, of course, once he gets set, he goes as quickly as Billy Hardwick used to. Oh, he really gave this one room. And it didn't make it back, and he falls a pin behind.
It nearly got back to the pocket, though, Mike.